What up YouTube, I am your host ProfessorStix and I'm back at it again with another Call of Duty Warzone video. Today we're going to be comparing the AMAX and the Cold War AK47. We'll be comparing the stats, looking at the recoil pattern, and I will be sharing with you the best attachments. We're going to find out, does the Cold War AK47 rise above the AMAX? If this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I make Warzone tips and tricks videos and I compare the best weapons in Warzone. Let's get into it. When we're looking at the weapon stats, the AMAX has an ADS speed of 279 milliseconds and a movement speed of 4.65 meters per second. The Cold War AK47 has an ADS speed of 267 milliseconds and a movement speed of 4.76 meters per second. The AMAX has a reload speed of 2.25 seconds and a rate of fire of 630 rounds per minute. The Cold War AK47 has a reload speed of 2.15 seconds and a rate of fire of 600 rounds per minute. As we can see here, the AMAX and the AK47 pretty identical. The Cold War AK47 does have a slight edge when it comes to ADS speed and the reload time. However, the rate of fire is slightly shorter than the AMAX, and that's what gives the AMAX a slight edge when we're looking at time to kill. But let's look at the damage profile and get a bigger picture. The AMAX does 52 damage to the head, which means it's going to take 5 shots to down a fully armored opponent. And the Cold War AK47 does 58 damage to the head, which means it's going to take 5 shots to down a fully armored opponent. The AMAX does 42 damage to the chest, which means it's going to take 6 shots to down a fully armored opponent, and the AK47 does 43 damage to the chest, which means it's going to take 6 shots to down a fully armored opponent. Now keep in mind, both of these weapons have a damage fall off, the AMAX at 24 meters and the AK47 slightly edging it out at 25 meters. Keep that damage fall off in mind because I'm going to share with you why the Cold War AK47 is a better sniper support. Now with the AMAX, if you hit all of your headshots, you are going to down a fully armored opponent in 381 milliseconds compared to the Cold War AK47, which is going to do that in 400 milliseconds. The AMAX, if you're hitting all chest shots, you're going to down a fully armored opponent in 476 milliseconds compared to the AK47, which is going to do that in 500 milliseconds. But here's the thing, when we look at how many headshots you need to hit to get an optimized time to kill, if you hit 1, 2, or 3 headshots, you will not reduce your time to kill with the AMAX. However, with the Cold War AK47, if you hit 3 headshots, you can bring your TTK down to 400 milliseconds. Now, remember how I told you to keep that damage fall off in mind? If you are using the AMAX outside of its effective damage range, which is around 24 meters, which can be extended with attachments, your time to kill is 571 milliseconds if you're hitting all chest shots. That is pretty impressive. Now with the Cold War AK47, if you're using it outside of its effective damage range, your time to kill if you're hitting all of your chest shots is 600 milliseconds. These are so very close that 29 milliseconds is pretty much irrelevant for most people. However, if you can mix in a couple of headshots, you can actually get your time to kill lower than the AMAX in just 3 headshots. And that's a big thing to keep in mind, that the Cold War AK47 is more effective if you can hit headshots. And with the new nerf to the AMAX, you need to hit at least 4 headshots in order to be able to get the most optimum time to kill. All right, guys, let's jump into the recoil pattern. All right, so taking a look at the recoil patterns, we have the AMAX on the left and the AK47 on the right. The AMAX pretty vertical, not much to say here. Also the AK47, other than those first 4 bullets that are pretty spread out from the rest of the bullet pattern, vertical recoil is going to be super easy to control, guys. Not much to say here. Let's jump into the situational use. Now I've been using the AMAX and the Cold War AK47 has sniper support weapons, and I think both of them are very excellent. You can use the AMAX for close range with its devastating damage profile, but you can also use it for long range with its decent bullet velocity. The Cold War AK47 just is an absolute beast at close range, and if you can control that recoil, it's actually a very decent sniper support weapon. However, you will most likely have to put an optic on it just because that iron sight is absolutely atrocious. All right, guys, let's get into the attachments. All right, so for the attachments, here is the AMAX, bit of a different build. Some of you might not have seen this. This is an SMG build. Monolithic suppressor, the XRK Zodiac S440 barrel, ammunition 45 round mags, but instead of an optic, you're going to put the tac laser on. That's going to increase your ADS speed. It's going to give you some aim stability. It's going to make it still pretty easy to control that recoil. And then you're going to go ahead and put on the no stock. This is going to further increase your ADS speed and also increase your movement speed, making the AMAX a beast at the SMG position. All right, let's go ahead and look at the AK47. With the AK47, you're going to want to go with the GRU suppressor, the Liberator barrel. This is going to give you max max bullet velocity. You're gonna go with the Spetsnaz grip. This is gonna help you tighten up that horizontal and vertical recoil. You're gonna go with the 60 round mag, and then you're gonna go with the macro flex LED or any optic of your choice. Since we're using this as sniper support, we want to be able to see, and the iron sights on the AK47 are just atrocious. All right, guys, let's get into my final thoughts. I think the Cold War AK47 is really good. However, as a sniper support weapon, especially if you're challenging people at distance, that recoil pattern can be pretty tough to control. The AMAX, however, we've been using it for quite some time now, and most people are used to the recoil pattern. I think taking off that optic will reduce your ability to use it at further ranges. However, you can now use it as an SMG for close range combat and for mid-range fights. I think the AMAX is still very good, but I think the Cold War AK47 is the new king of Warzone, simply because it's just so versatile. That time to kill is very effective. You can use it at short, medium, and long range, and there are multiple ways to build it so that it's effective for your play style. All right, guys, that's it for me. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can find your way back for more Call of Duty content. As always, I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.